What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So last week in the comment section, somebody watched one of our videos about hooking up humbuckers and coil splitting and etc. And I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding of the video, and it made me think, you know what? Maybe we should make another one and be a little more specific. So he was like, "You're not hooking up the humbucker, right? That won't work." And I'm like, well, we've got like thousands of them, and that's how we do it. So I want to show you how to hook up a humbucker so that it works as a humbucker. But as a result of that, let's explore humbucker tone, split tone, so coil splitting, versus parallel, so series parallel coil split. And we're going to listen to the sounds side by side. You're going to hear them side by side. And I'm going to show you, I've got a kind of a fun way to illustrate this and be able to show it better, I think. Before we start, make sure you go to the little scanny thing, wherever it is. I'll put it right here. DylanTalksTone.com. We make pickups. That's what we do. I mentioned thousands. Yeah, we probably made, I don't know, a lot of pickups. Tens of thousands over the last 12 years or so. And that's what we do. That's what our real job is. So go check out Dylan Talks Tone and buy some humbuckers or something. I got some really cool ones to show you today. Let me show you this rig that I made. Okay, so what I did was I took one of our guitars here. This is actually my Silton double cut Telly. It's got a set of our clear DAFs. These are available on the website right now. If you want to go grab some of those, they're pretty cool. We don't do very many of them at a time, but there you go. And what I've done here is I've got this breadboard, and I've made long cables coming out of the guitar. So basically the neck pickup is hooked up right here, okay? So we've got the output to the guitar is here. So this is just going to be to our three-way switch, and this is going to be to ground in the guitar. So that's just the output to the guitar. But what we have on this side is we have our wires, our 4 wires from our humbucker. So we'll just pull all these out. How about that? So there's our 4 wires for our humbucker, and there's our output to the guitar. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to use this to illustrate the different ways that you can wire a humbucker. And maybe I'll draw a couple drawings, and I'll show you what we're about to do here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is basic humbucker. Okay, so we've got 2 coils here. We've got wire wrapped around one, and we've got wire wrapped around the other, and in the middle is going to be our magnet, right? So the magnet sits underneath like this, and this edge is going to be south, and this edge is going to be north for our conversation. So we've got the start of this coil wraps around, comes out, and there's our finish. And then the start of this coil wraps around and comes out, and there's our finish. And so the way we're going to hook up a regular humbucker is we're going to go, let's see, the way we're doing this one is north start. Okay, so this is going to go to our switch. So our north start is going to go to the switch, which is going to be the positive for the guitar, the red. The start of the other coil is going to go to ground. So the start of our other coil. So I'll zoom it in further so you can see it. Oh, maybe you can see it now. Let's do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, so this is our hot and our ground. So we're going to take the start of our north coil, okay, and we're going to put it here. Doesn't really matter where. And we're going to hook it to the switch in the guitar. So the way we do that is we use the same row over here and the same row over here on our breadboard. So now our start of our north coil is hooked to our hot. Then we're going to take our start of our south coil and hook it to ground, which is going to be this guy right here. And I'm doing this way so that we can move some stuff around in a minute. Okay. So now we have, now I could just put the wire there, but I'm doing this for a reason. So now we have, the humbucker is hooked up. The problem is that we still don't have the two coils hooked together. So we take both of our finishes, okay, and we just tag them together. So they just go together. So then what we have is signal goes to ground. So we have it comes in, goes out, goes out, goes in, and then goes back out. So we're going start, finish, finish, start. And what that does is it makes it to where the signal travels opposite directions in both coils. So it goes one direction in this coil and the other direction in this coil. The other thing that it does is that it does that on opposite polarities of the magnet. So now you don't have anything out of phase. But the thing we need to do is we need to hook up the center. So the center link of a humbucker on mine is the black and the green. We just put those in the same row, and now they are hooked up. So we have the start of the north coil going to hot, we have the start of the south coil going to ground, and two finishes are tied together right there in the middle. So that is our normal humbucker drawing, this right here. So start, finish, finish, start, and then the ends are on the grounds. And that is what we should be able to hear when we turn this up. And if we just tap on the humbucker, we'll see that both of those coils are hot. So then the next thing we would want to do is then we would take this center link and we put this on a switch to ground. And that would give us a coil split, because what would happen then is the signal would come in here, only go through this coil, but then go straight to ground instead of going through this coil and then going to ground, essentially cutting the second coil off, if that makes sense. So what we need to do there is all we need to do is short our center link, our finishes here, to ground over there, and now we should have, turn our volume back up, and we should have only the slug coil on. You can hear it a little bit tapping through the pickup, but that coil's not on. So now we're coil split on the slug side. So if we play that right now, let me try to get under here and do that, and then we'll unplug it. That's coil split, but then if we pull that out of the system, now that is our humbucker. Hey everybody, so one fundamental thing I got wrong in this, and I want to correct it right now, is that when we are talking about signal flow, it actually goes from ground to hot. And that is key in understanding it. So here's the thing. Your brain automatically just goes positive to negative, right? But it actually doesn't. The signal actually goes from ground to hot, okay? The reason that's important is because when we put our coil split in, that determines which coil gets shut off, okay? So basically what happens is when you coil split a pickup, the coil that is closest to ground, the factory ground, is the one that stays on. if that makes sense. So when you put a coil split in a guitar and you coil split it in the middle here, the coil on the side of the already ground is the one that's going to stay on. The coil that's on the side of the hot is the one that's going to get cut out. So in our stuff, the way we make ours is the slug side stays on and the screw side shuts off. That's the way our stuff is wired. Just so you know that. You have to like stop yourself and go, oh no, wait a minute. Signal goes from ground to hot. Sorry, long confusing way. Signal goes from ground to hot. So we have both of those sounds. Now the next thing we want to do is look at parallel, because that's another one. So I'm going to draw a whole new drawing for this. Give me 1 second. All right, now parallel is different. Parallel is going to be sort of like you're hooking up two pickups in the same spot. So if you treat these coils as separate like they are, then you take the start from this side. It's hard to write with a stub fountain pen crooked. And you take this start and you take this start and you hook this up to the switch or the pot. And you take this finish and you hook them up to ground. And basically what you're doing is you're taking two single coils and you are hooking them both up to the same place. So it's in parallel. So watch what happens when you hear this. Now I've not changed any, so that's what I've done here. So what we've basically done is we've taken the starts from one side, which is the black and the white, or the red and the white, and the finishes from the other side, which is the black and the green. And we've hooked one side up to, the starts up to the positive and the finishes up to ground. Now this is what this sounds like. Now if you noticed, that was a lot quieter than series. And the reason is because anytime you add up anytime you do parallel, it divides the resistance in half of the lowest coil. So we end up with a very low output setup here, but it's super clear and it's still hum canceling, which is really kind of cool because you have two single coils running in reverse wound, reverse polarity next to each other, and that's the parallel sound that you get, but it's a lot lower output than your normal series. So there's the three things, and maybe I'll just timestamp them through the video or whatever so you can go back and watch it, but you have the full humbucker in series, you have a coil split humbucker, and you have parallel, and those are the three different ways to wire them. Now, here's the thing about this. The colors don't matter, okay? So the way our humbuckers are is the north coil is start red, finish green. The south coil is start white, finish black. Seymour Duncan's, I think, are the opposite of that. There is no industry standard for what color is what, so you kind of have to know. When you order pickups from us, we actually send you a little card that you scan, and it shows you all of our wiring diagrams and what the pinout for the pickups is and stuff, so you can figure out this. You can do this with any of your own pickups, as long as they're a 4-wire pickup, as long as you understand start, finish, but the concept of how it hooks up is the same no matter the color combination of the brand that you have, if that makes sense. If you have any questions about this, get in the comments. It'd be kind of cool to answer any of those. We have a couple of pickups that are made specifically to coil split, like our center punch humbucker. These are not made to coil split, but obviously it still can because this is a 4-wire. But we have, vintage style with the stainless braid on the outside, and then we have the 4-wire stuff for the stuff that can be coil split. So we have all of that available at DylanTalksTone. Plus we have push-pull pots and all that kind of stuff too, if you ever wanted to do any of this. But that gives you an idea, not only the output difference and kind of just the general sound difference, as well as the ease with which you can change it. If you have any questions, get in the comments. Like I said, hit the subscribe button and the like button. Check out DylanTalksTone for all your pickup needs, and we'll see you in the next video.